Just a quick reminder about number lines and fractions. This is Year 3's work, but this is also a good reminder for Year 4, and I'm going to do Year 4 another page in a second. This is what you're going to see on Mathletics. It says, how many quarters are there in 1 1/4? When you're reading this question, make sure you can see that that is 1 1/4. Don't just think it says a quarter, it's got 1 1/4. When you look at the number line here, you can see that the number line is 0, 1 and 2. It's a very small number line. However, it has been broken up into smaller parts. We can count how many parts there it's been broken up into. 1, 2, 3, 4. We know it's been broken into 4 parts. And here we have a quarter. We know there's 4 parts. And we know that if we put a dot on this one, we would know we would have 4 of 4 parts. So when you have 1 1/4, you know you've got 4 over 4 and an extra quarter. So let's count that. We're going to change this one to 4 over 4 because we know that that means 4 over 4. So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've counted that now, and now I'm going to do the extra quarter there. So it's asking you how many quarters are there in 1 1/4. We now have to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 quarters in 1 1/4. So don't get confused. I want you to think, okay, how many quarters are there in 1? You know there's 4. And then you've got to add an extra 1. So you know that there's 5. That's Year 3. Year 4, this is yours. This is what your Mathletics is going to look like. It says, slide the dot to the point on the number line that is equivalent to the fraction shown below. Here it is showing you a really small number line, 0, 1. But here the denominator is saying that this number line has to be broken up into 8s. So far, there is only 1, 2, 3, 4 little markers, which means it's been broken into quarters, 4. If I was to draw it like a bar and I extended these out like this, you can see that it's been broken into 4 groups, 4 parts. Don't get confused by that bit. Make sure that that's a thick number line. You can see it's been broken into 4 parts, but they're asking you to break it into 8. So I want you to think about halving these. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you've got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, 1 is 8 over 8. And now you've got to find 6 of the 8. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you will move this dot to this point here to make 6 over 8. So you will have to imagine and break these up further than what they're going to give you. They've broken it into 4, but you've got to break it into 8. So remember the denominator. Okay. Year 3. Sorry, that was Year 3. So Year 3, this is another piece of your work. I want you to have a look at this. It is asking you, I'm just going to fold this over because it's a little bit confusing. So let me just break this up a little bit. All right. You've got another fractions deciding to use the... So, sorry, what you've got to do is use the number line to decide which fraction is larger. So on this, you've got 1 3/4 and 5 quarters. Now you know that these are broken. When we look at the denominator, you know that it's broken into 4 groups. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. And here is 1 and here is 2. It's a small number line again, 0, 1, 2. And here, this is also broken into quarters. So you know they're broken into quarters. They're wanting you to find 1 3/4. So we know if we turned this into a little chocolate bar again, that we're used to seeing, I'm going to write the one up there, chocolate bar. I've got 1 whole and 3/4. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 whole and 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 3/4. You've got to decide which of these two fractions is the largest. So we know that this is where 1 3/4 is. That's where this one is. Let's look at 5/4. 5/4, let's count them then. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know that this is where 5/4 is. There's one extra. We know it's a whole and a quarter, which equals 5/4. Here's a whole, here's one extra quarter. So this is the largest fraction. That is what you're going to click. So I want you to think about breaking it all up, looking at the denominator, how it's working, and count them in to help you answer these questions. I hope you do well with them. Thank you. Bye.